Moving on to topic number 9, Team USA underwater. The Team USA men's basketball team that's going to be competing in the Olympics lost their first 2 exhibition games of the exhibition season. They lost to both Nigeria and Australia. Not necessarily powerhouses in international basketball, to say the least. A lot of people were surprised. A lot of people were shocked. I think it was late last night, they actually killed Argentina for their first exhibition win of the season, 108-80. So, I'm not going to get too upset over the USA basketball team losing a couple exhibition games. You have guys that are NBA players that just came off a tough season where a lot of, we've been talking about the schedule this whole time. Brandon, what do you think about the struggles at the beginning of this Team USA sort of exhibition season before the Olympics?
I'm not going to get upset yet because, like you said, the tournament actually hasn't started. This is technically like preseason. We're getting our feet wet. But I got to admit, it's a little embarrassing to lose to Nigeria. I mean, like, Nigeria? Like, really? This isn't soccer. This is basketball. We should have stomped them out. So I'm telling you, that's a little embarrassing. Australia, they're actually not that bad. They're generally a pretty good international basketball team, and they usually show up in the FIBA tournaments or in the Olympics and have good teams. So honestly, I think that was one where the United States just played down and Australia played up and won. And if you do that, Australia is good enough to be able to beat you. But losing to Nigeria, man, I think that was sad, honestly. And I think Nigeria has now got a ton of confidence going into the tournament. And it's like you're wondering what the Americans are thinking. Like, do they have much confidence going into the tournament? I hope they still do, because we need it and they need to kind of wake up. And that's one of those things, especially as a coach, we always say, hey, getting that wake-up call early is a lot better than getting it late in the tournament and losing to Nigeria when it counts. So, hey, you've now gotten your wake-up call that the international game has changed, and we've been saying this for years. International basketball is catching up at a staggering rate, and we're the ones that have set the stage for it, okay? We made NBA basketball so great, and America made basketball so great. Remember, we created this game. This is our game. Created right here in Massachusetts, Springfield, Massachusetts. But the rest of the world loves the game so much that they are playing it at a staggering rate and catching up at a staggering rate. And they're putting a lot of effort and a lot of resources into their international teams. And we're just starting to see this now, like I said, in the FIBA tournaments and in the Olympics. So it's not shocking to me to see these international teams continuing to get better. But I'm still shocked to see the United States lose to a team like Nigeria. But I hope, like I said, that's the wake-up call they need going forward. And I'm sure they weren't playing their normal rotation that they're going to be doing in the gold medal tournament. I honestly think they were playing a lot of guys and maybe a deeper bench in that game, giving everybody some run because, like you said, they're coming off of a tough season and they want to see what they got going forward. But I think going into the tournament, I've always said this United States coaching team, coaching staff has always been amazing. Always been amazing. I've got a ton of confidence in them going forward. So I think they'll shorten down the roster here, and not saying obviously people aren't going to get taken off the team. It's going to be that they're going to sit on the bench, man. You're not going to see everybody playing in the tournament. You might get a couple of minutes here or there, and you'll have to make your best of those minutes. But I think they're just going to shorten down the lineup to maybe guys like that you're looking on the left there, Kevin Durant and some superstars out there, and just really lean on them throughout the tournament. But I think this is one of those things where I said it even going weeks back on this show. If this United States team comes out in the first round, has an impressive victory, starts off hot, they'll be good going forward. If they come out in that first game and they're in a battle, then I don't know, man. It's going to be a struggle possibly going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think, going back to what I was saying before, when you see them in those first 2 games, it's been a long 2 seasons. They had the bubble, the short off season, the condensed schedule. Guys like Durant, even Tatum, he had a first round playoff knockout by Durant in the Nets. These guys are they're still kind of recovering from the season, a season like they'd never had before. So I think to come out in the first 2 exhibition games and not essentially go balls to the wall in these games, or play with the crazy enthusiasm in an international exhibition game, You know, Nigeria was jacked up to play that game. Anytime an international team that doesn't necessarily have, you know, it's not like they're Spain or one of those or you know, some of these other great, you know, France and some of these other international teams that have really good international teams that can be competitive with USA. You know, this Nigerian team knew this could be their one shot to actually, you know, take it to the Americans, and that's what they did. And you know, I'm not too worried about it. The fact that they beat Argentina, who has a good program. You know, Manu Ginobili played for Argentina for a long time. That's a nice win to beat them by 28 and another exhibition game, you know. So I'm not too worried about it. I know what you're saying when it's like this is kind of embarrassing. The United States is where basketball was born, especially here in Massachusetts. But you know, I'm just not going to be too concerned right now. They're also, I think Drew Holiday is supposed to be on this team. I can't remember if there's anybody else who's playing in the NBA Finals who's going to be on this team, but Holiday is going to be more of a role player for this team. He's a ball handler, really good defender, so he's going to help with probably what they're lacking. You know, right now they got, you know, Tatum and Durant and guys who are just scorers. So when you get more of a defensive guy, a guy who's a better role player like a Drew Holiday, I think that'll help too.
I think another key point to bring up is these international teams generally are practicing together months and months and months and months. It's like the only thing because they're not playing in professional leagues. Obviously, these NBA players are coming fresh off the NBA season, and now they're just starting to practice together and create their own team chemistry with Team USA. And that's only been going on for a few weeks. So hopefully over these next few weeks before the games officially start, they'll get more chemistry together. They'll get their legs underneath them a little bit more conditioning. And I think they'll be ready to go game one. But it's like I said, they got to come out and they got to start fast, man, because it's nobody's going to be cutting them slack. And you brought that up. Everybody comes jacked up to play the United States. So, man, they have to come out jacked up themselves and set the tone in every game. And here's my thing. And all these teams going back, even back to the Dream Team, you had Bird, you had Jordan, you had Magic Johnson, guys that you could go to that would take over the tournament. Most recently on the Redeem Team, it was LeBron and Kobe. On this team, you know who I'm calling for it to be. Dame time, baby. Dame time all day long. I want to see Dame time, Dame Lillard take over this United States team and bring us to the gold medal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, again, we mentioned this before. It's going to be fun to watch them. There's so many stars in this team. There's so much depth of talent in the NBA, even especially on the amount of American players who, you know, the international NBA has really gotten huge where there's a lot of great international players, including, you know, Luka Doncic and some of the other international guys. But there's so much. I mean, look at this team. There's so much depth in this team. You know, they're going to get Devin Booker later, too. And I think guys like Bam Adebayo are going to be big for them. And, you know, like I said before, as a Celtics fan, I'm looking forward to seeing Jason Tatum be almost kind of more of a role player himself. You know, kind of step back, not always have the ball in his hands because you're not with Kevin Durant. Yep. You're not going to have the ball in your hands when James Harden's out there. We know that. So, you know, be more of a role player, be a rebounder, be a guy who's going to be cutting a lot, being more of an off-the-ball player. So I think guys like him are just going to have to get used to that, and that's going to take some time too. So these guys are going to be fun to watch, and it's not going to be a problem. They're going to be very successful in the Olympics. It's just going to take a little time for them to gel, like you said.
Yeah, a little more chemistry going forward, and you bring up a great point. Like with Tatum, I think that's just going to be more experience he can bring back to Boston and on the hard court here in Boston.